Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beavermosh, and today I'm talking to you about Goetic blood spells from the US based blood magic. This is coming off of Spiritual Disease. And before I get any further with this review, I wanted to shout out my latest patron, Sasha. Sasha, thank you so much for your support. Now, talk about the record. Blood Magic on this debut full length. This enigmatic duo, not much is known about them, puts out this ambient, lo-fi black metal release with some very compelling dungeon-synth undertones. The music here feels convincingly cryptic in a very interesting way. This is not just your run-of-the-mill raw black metal record. There's so much detail to uncover here. The music is dark, it's grating, it's incredibly eerie, but also there is this raw beauty within this record. On cryptic manifestations of tenebrous spirits, these scything guitars come in underneath this buzzing wall of noise and feedback. The vocals are particularly weary and torn. This diseased croak has this dark mystique surrounding it. The music here is very raw. It is not a pretty recording. It's impenetrable, it's harsh, but in the same way, with this rough sound, it successfully adds to this arcane nature that I sense with this record. And on top of that, this album, it has riffs, from the punky downstrums to the more dreary melodic runs that Blood Magic brings out. On Bannerman Burning in an Open Field, we get to see the band's more triumphant and fantastical side with these fast, rousing tremolos and this urgent drumming. While at the same time, Blood Magic is still able to craft this hostile, caustic environment. It's nasty, it's aggressive, it's dark, and it's just fucking evil. This is as cult as it can get. On In the Shadow of Ancient Horror, the band's dungeon-synth elements really begin to take hold as these ornate gothic chords begin to build up the ritualistic nature of the track. And that blends really well to the sheer violence of the guitars. While this is an extremely dark and uninviting listen, behind that veneer, there is a lot of feeling, especially in these medieval, epic melodies and rhythms that Blood Magic taps into. The vocals are quite expressive, very strained and ugly. But there is this dark passion behind them, especially here when they're working in tandem with these faint, ghastly, clean chorals. On Shattered Blade and Broken Spear, these slow, somber, doomy chords just kind of drone on. It's quite stirring. Honestly, it begins to take the music here into more of a frosty, ambient approach. If you're one who wants that black metal that feels like it was recorded in a cave somewhere in a cold place in the snow with Satan stuff everywhere, this is it. The synths play this ominous, hellish dirge behind everything. It adds a lot of color. Now listen on the second half of this track though, when the guitars and the drums seemingly just snap into sync and begin to play this fast, pummeling passage together. This band can be hella heavy when they want to be. Screams of wild triumph sound like it would be right at home. You wouldn't question if I mentioned that this was on a 90s second wave black metal record out of Norway. And if you're someone who craves that appeal, I get that sense from this record. And even with this very raw, bare bones recording, the drums still pack a lot of power. It's very impressive how they're able to get that effect. The drums just really slap me around here. And at the same time, this track boasts some of the most ferocious and militant riffs on the entire record. A record that already has a lot of pulverizing shit on it. The closing title track really creates a setting with these majestic, windy field recordings and these sparse, buzzing guitar strums. Blood Magic really understands just how to produce atmosphere in a record. The way the synths here seem to nest the steady rhythms of the guitar just creates a really nice sense of texture. There are these low, eerie spoken word bits on this track that, I don't know, sound like I'm being spoken to directly from the mouth of Sauron. It's really cool. If you came into this review looking for something more on the theatrical, crisp, big sounding side of black metal, I'm sorry, this isn't it. But if you're like me and you're also fond of this less approachable, more unpolished side of the subgenre, I'm sold on this. It's heavy, it's sinister, and it's equally hypnotic. The production here is exactly what this record needed. Now, I'm not a dungeon-synth expert. I do enjoy the genre quite a bit, but I'm familiar with it enough to where I think that dungeon-synth aficionados will find a lot of appeal to this record, as well as the metalheads, of course. So please give it a go. And hey, that's my review. If you like what I do, tell me. Hit that like button. It would mean the world to me if you would consider subscribing. I have a Twitter you can follow. The link is below and in the bio of this YouTube channel. Leave a comment. I love getting to engage with those. I have a Patreon now. No pressure to give, but thank you to my patrons already. But if you wanted to support that way, it is a way to help keep this channel more sustainable, and it would mean a whole lot to me. You watching right now, keep it metal. My name's Maddie, aka Beavermosh. I'm signing off.